Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, June 10th, 2014. We're at 7 o'clock. We have a village board meeting, followed directly by a committee of the whole meeting. Our first order this evening is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Wasn't fast. Right. Good evening, Ms. Sherby. Would you please call the roll for us?
Present.
Present.
Trustee Perry.
Present.
Present. Trustee Stecker.
Present.
Trustee Yokovic.
Present.
President Julia.
Present. We do have a quorum. Any presentations this evening?
No, there are none.
Nothing. Okay. Item number 5, public comments and questions. Anyone, please step up to the microphone. 3 minutes in length, unless further time is granted by the board for active agenda matters or general matters as well.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joseph Bustos. I'm at 2215 Sunnyside Avenue. I've been a resident here in Westchester going on 6 years. This is my first experience with you. I've had the pleasure of dealing with the president several times that he's helped me out. The reason I'm here this evening is just behind or on Cermak, PNC drive-through bank that they're tearing down. My problem and question is the driveway leading to the alley. I've been informed by neighbors that have been in Westchester for 40 years that before the bank ever, PNC was not the first bank, I forgot the bank that was there 6 years ago, there was never an entrance to the alley from that lot. She was telling me, she called it was a prairie. I'm from Chicago, it was an empty lot. The bank didn't have an exit to the alley. Now, I was made to understand by Ms. Headley that 100 feet into the alley from the lot is going to be their drive from the store parking lot. Well, that 100 feet is right in front of my driveway and my neighbor's driveway that said she was coming tonight, but hasn't showed up or isn't going to show. I'm not here to cause ripples in the water. I'm happy to see commerce come into the village. It helps us all. My concern is, will we be able to live together with that driveway that's never been there, by what I'm told, and will it interfere with me getting to work in the morning? I had recommended to Ms. Headley that the entrance of the parking lot should be further towards Stratford. It would still give my neighbor and myself the ability to exit our garages. If they're on Stratford blocking the street, we can still get out on Sunnyside. There's only 2 houses using that alley. So that's my question, you know. And also, I was a little disturbed that I wasn't informed, since there never was a driveway by the village, that there would be one now. Ms. Headley gave me information, and she answered my questions, that there is no statute saying that there couldn't be. But that's mine. As a courtesy, the village should have informed me and my neighbor that there would be an entrance into the alley with a driveway. Outside of that, it's been a pleasure talking to you folks.
Well, apologize for the oversight.
Sure.
Again, you know, it's a commercial property. If you look to the just to the east of you, you'll see an alley cut out for the funeral home and other places, other places as well. I know the concern when they did put the drive up there was that if the cars were coming in off of Cermak and coming in off the alley, how were they going to queue up in line to access the drive-through? That was one of the issues, and that's why they never opened up an alley cut and had everybody come in off of Cermak, because you'd have somebody coming down Sunnyside, make a right in the alley, and now somebody came in off of Cermak. Who's first? who's second. So they didn't want
Oh,
to
good.
do that. So they figured making the horseshoe in and out was the best under those conditions for the drive-up bank. I'm told that the trucks in here, and this is in conversation with, Melissa, as you have made, commentary, that these are trucks that are similar to UPS trucks that are going to be dropping off paint at certain times. I know Melissa has offered and has brokered a conversation between you, her, and the developer, just trying to work out a time with you, your neighbor, and trying to reach some accommodations, so to speak. Of course, we don't want the trucks blocking you when you have to go to work at the courthouse and that, or your neighbor going to work as well. I think we want a good neighbor relationship. I'm glad you brought these to our attention, but I would suggest that we sit down with the developer and the person that's going to be managing that place, so we have a game plan of how we're going to operate so we can be all good neighbors. The building next door, the dentist's office, is vacant as well. There may be something in there at some point in time. I'm honestly surprised that they didn't knock everything down and somebody to come in and put a culver's there, which would have, like in the city of Berwyn, alley access, and that would have been a lot more traffic. So I guess we make the sign of the cross that
Let's
it's only a paint terminal at this point in time. But I think we all want good neighbors. I think we're going to have good neighbors there. Certainly economic development and change. You get comfortable that there's nothing there, and you could come and go as you please, and hopefully we'll have some good neighborhood. But if something comes awry, trucks are blocking, things of that nature, I'm sure you're going to bring those to our attention and we'll address them. But we're going to try to get through those ahead of time.
You brought up something, I know we've gone over 3 minutes, the cars waiting in line. What I understand, the bank put up pine trees basically for privacy on our end, who used to be the original owner. Well, I was told from the emission of the cars waiting in line, killed off quite a few trees. And there was an open spot, and I could never get the bank to address it because the bank was selling, and then PNC said they were closing, so I just lived with it.
Yeah.
But my neighbor to the south came up to me one day, that he came out in the evening, and he stood on his back porch, and he saw all the way to Cermak. He said, "We have no security," because I have basically a corral-type post fence, and it's a straight shot. So is Sherwin-Williams going to put up something to at least give privacy to us? Like, I think Melissa mentioned that they plan to put an island in the center, but what about all the way on the west end of the parking lot? That's another concern.
I'm not sure of what the
It would be the west
forestry
end.
piece has set up on the plans.
Okay. She showed me the layout.
I know there's some pieces there as well.
Right.
You
That's
know,
another concern from my
you know-
neighbor on the south. I'm right on the alley.
Yeah, and again, there are homes on any alley that cross, on Manheim Road. If you look on Bellevue and look east, there's a potential to see cars coming in and out of Young Prince and things of that way, as well. You indicated you have a fence up there.
It's just a stock fence, like a corral type of post.
I mean, is it the height? Is it?
5 feet.
Yeah, because I mean, our fence heights
6
are
feet.
6 feet. Unless there's some type of variance that's given out
I didn't think this was the time to bring that up.
to go
but
there. I mean,
had
there,
thought of that,
there is a process
Sure.
that I have to bite my tongue now. I said that word, but there is it's not a normal. Our code is 6 feet.
Yeah,
Um,
I've been informed.
There is a way to
Sure.
approach the matter, to see what's what. Things aren't built right now as far as the trees and the bushes aren't up.
No.
That's
This is
maybe
all the-
something that could be addressed before it
This
gets
is all
going.
the opening steps. I know
Yeah.
everything's already been set. I just want to live happily and, work with the village. That's
Again, I think the conversation between you, yourself, the developer, and will hopefully be as fruitful as possible.
Thank you, sir.
Okay? Thanks, Mr. Bustos, for coming.
Folks, thank you for your time.
Anyone else?
Hi, I've been a Westchester resident for 39 years, And I did come and see you, Mr. Mayor, about a month and a half ago in regards to that. Oh, my name is Marlene Lattis, 11122 Shakespeare, Westchester. And I came and see you about a month and a half ago in regards to the bench right there by IHM School. And
Right.
you told me that that was a PACE issue. So I did call PACE. I spent 3.5 hours on the phone in regards, and they gave me the runaround. And then finally I got an intelligent person that said that that is city property, and that is up to Westchester to rectify that matter. Because I'm afraid that there's going to be a child that's going to get killed there. Because that booth where you stand for the CTA bus, and where that stand is cockeyed, and then they have that sign with the kid, he's not listening, but he does pay attention, you cannot see the oncoming cars. And I noticed when I've been driving up and down to see how many of them are crooked, and they're only crooked on the side that's going west. When you're going east on 22nd, they're straight. I don't understand the logic to that. So if you have a chance, or somebody has a chance to look at that, because there is going to be a child, and I've lived there so many times seeing those kids running across the street to catch the bus. And on the other side where there is a bus terminal, there is no bench for the kids to sit on. It's just on our side.
Yeah, the PACE
Told me that
repository, those are those. The village authorized the benches. So you have the PACE hut, which is PACE, and I think that's just adjacent to it. I know, I don't know if the chief took a look at that. I know the village manager had been dealing with the issue for a little bit of time. I understand you had some conversation with her.
I had one resident who had a complaint about the advertising bench blocking
That's what-
traffic.
right,
what she's talking
that's
about.
the one I'm talking about.
However, I myself did drive that. I know before the placement of these benches were decided, there were traffic studies done, and there are all the benches comply with appropriate IDOT setbacks from the road. The bench itself is only 6 feet long, which is less pretty much than the length of the car. And I did drive that myself and had no issue turning at the intersection.
You don't feel that you have to pass the white line in order to see the oncoming traffic?
I did not find that to be an issue, and I understand that change is easy. If you've been driving that route for many, many years, and all of a sudden there is something there, it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to. I thought that the concern would have been the PACE bus shelter, but I did hear from another resident that it was that bench. There is no, you're talking about, is it Boger?
It's
Yeah,
on
at
Boger,
Boger.
it's 22nd and Boger.
So there's no light there.
Right.
You know, my thought would be it's no more difficult turning left with the bench than it was prior to that without the bench, because it's difficult to turn left onto Cermak from that.
But you don't seem
that
to think that
location.
that's a blinding issue there?
I did not find it to be personally, and yes, okay.
I drive that intersection every day,
Mm-hmm.
and that is blinding. And I've been a resident for 37 years.
Okay, well, I can appreciate that, but
It's not the dimension of the bench, it's the position of the bench being set on an angle. So the bench needs to be removed off the angle and be set forth in a straight line that is parallel to the road, not perpendicular to the road. That's the issue. My mother and I are not the only ones that are having this concern. There are several residents that live on Shakespeare Street that are having the same concern that we are.
Because I can get a petition going and bring it to you if you like it. I mean, the people are mad, and it's not because we can't stand change. I love change, long as it's better, not worse. My concern is a child is going to get hurt or killed because they do not watch. They cross the intersection. I've lived on that block, I'm telling you, 39 years, going to be 40. And I've always had to watch the kids. I almost hit a child because they dart across that street right from where you drive into the school. They run right across there in order to catch the bus. My concern is the child. I just don't want to be the guy driving the car when I hit him. That's my concern. And if you need to try and get out of there when school gets out. Right now, unfortunately, the school is closed. But you need to drive there in the morning when school's going in and when school's coming out. And then maybe you can see what we're trying to explain to you.
Okay, well, thank you for your comments. We'll certainly take a look at it.
I appreciate
All
that,
right.
thank you.
How will we know when the resolution is going to occur?
Well, we'll take a look at it and contact, if it's the desire of the board to change it, contact the vendor and see if they can move it and straighten it out. It's as simple as that. They just have to re-pour the pad and move it up. I mean, what you're saying is if it was straight, it wouldn't be an issue. So it's not perpendicular. It has probably a certain degree of an angle. For whatever reason, I don't know why they said it that way. Maybe it's easier to see the name on the advertisement. I don't know. But we'll take a look.
Will you be addressing the issue with the Peace Company?
It's not Pace.
That's not Pace.
With Right Advertising. That's who has it. But we'll be addressing it with them after we take a look at it.
Okay, but you're not answering my question.
I can't give you a timeline. If you're looking for a timeline, I can't give it to you right now. I can't give it to you right now. We will look at it, like I said, and if the board deems it appropriate, we will call Right Advertising and see if they can move it straight.
So in 6 months, we don't have a resolution. What are our next steps as a resident to make sure that this takes effect?
You could petition us, I would imagine, if that's what you're so desired to be. I mean,
I just want to know what my next steps are in 6 months. There's no reason why the resolution couldn't occur in the next 6 months. before we-
If you would like to give me your name and phone number, I will contact you after we have a resolution.
you're welcome.
You can leave it with our clerk, please.
Anybody else? One, two, three. Okay. Are there any public hearings?
No, there are not.
Item 7, consent agenda. Is there anything that needs to be pulled out of A through F? Bills, the minutes? G.
She needs a pen.
A through G. Is there anything that has to be pulled at all? Anything? No. Okay. Is there a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as listed?
So move. Second.
Tom and Frank. Roll call, please.
Trustee Gutsuso? Aye. Trustee Perry?
Aye.
Trustee Rita?
Aye.
Trustee Stecker?
Aye.
Trustee Yorkowicz?
Aye.
Trustee Calpagno?
Aye.
President Bowie?
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 8, active agenda, ordinance waiving competitive bidding and authorizing the Village of Westchester enter an agreement with Chicago Truck and Bus Repair Incorporated for the repair of the John Deere loader. If I'm not mistaken, during our budget process, we had some basic prices through another vendor as well. Is that not correct? We had
Yes, we did, and we had talked about it at the committee of the whole meeting last time, that we had budgeted $38,000 for repair of the unloader. During the budgetary process, we had received an estimate for the repair from another vendor in the amount of $39,000, approximately $300. And Public Works staff had become aware of another vendor who did repair John Deere vehicles and could offer a more competitive price. So we had discussed the option, if that price came in at a more favorable rate, that we would go with that vendor. Subsequent to the board meeting, we did receive the quote from Chicago Truck and Bus Repair, which came in approximately $4,000 less than the original quote. So we have substituted that in this ordinance.
Right. So in other words, we may not have had competitive bidding sealed bids, but we did get prices for the repair from multiple companies. Is
Right,
that
there are only
correct?
limited repair shops that can repair a John Deere tractor.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion and a second to, we need when to waive the competitive bid, Mike, or we do it all at once?
No, it's all in the,
All in
same,
once? Okay.
ordinance.
Is there a motion and a second to approve the
Ordinance.
ordinance and enter an agreement with Chicago Truck and Bus?
So moved.
Second.
The ordinance itself provides for waiving of competitive bidding, so.
So Tom and, or Paul and Tom. Shirley, roll call, please.
Trustee Perry.
Aye.
Trustee Rita.
Aye.
Trustee Stecker.
Aye.
Trustee York.
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun.
Aye.
Trustee Gutierrez.
Aye.
President Bowie.
Aye, motion carries. Next item is the manager's report. Janet, anything?
Just a few items, just another reminder that we are accepting entrance forms for the 4th of July parade, which will be held, we'll step off at 9:30 on Friday, July 4th. So if you don't have your registration in, please get it in here as soon as possible. Registration forms are available online and in your village newsletter. Also wanted to wish a belated happy birthday to Trustee Celeste Rita, who had a birthday on Sunday.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
And what number was that?
29
able to have a
again.
drink, right?
That's all I have this evening. sir.
Michael, report, anything?
Just have one matter for executive session, so.
Okay, let's see, board members, we'll start out with Tommy, had a cab event over the weekend.
We did. We had our Get Out and Play Day event. It was a great day, actually, and the kids that were in attendance seemed to enjoy themselves thoroughly. They were running around, playing around all day, or for the 3 hours, actually.
Great. Frank, you at EDC this week?
We're just kind of looking into the future, going over our surveys and preparing the information.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. I mean,
To my knowledge, and Melissa, bear me out, we have not had any takers on the facade program as well, so I don't know if,
there's
I know
two.
there was a chamber meeting today that was brought up. Do we have any
No, there's
takers on
two.
that yet, Melissa?
I have 2 applications.
You have 2.
They're
And where are
probably-
those at?
my opinion's up.
Janet and I need, oh wait, do you mean?
The businesses,
where are
yeah.
they located? Oh, it's Anna's place across the street,
Okay.
and then also Hancock Engineering.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we do have some movement in that direction.
Yeah, cool.
Great, okay.
It should be on the formal agenda
Yeah.
for EDC next,
Oh, good,
their
okay.
next meeting.
Okay, then I didn't know that they existed, so that's great to hear. So we could have shared that with Chamber of Commerce today. Let's see, we got a recycling event coming up.
Yes. That should be this Saturday, right?
Yeah, this
so-
Saturday. I'm told there's a 100-inch television set coming
Yes.
for you, so.
Yeah, otherwise it's
My
been
husband
quiet
would
with the, it's been quiet on our end until
Good.
that, so.
Good. Let's see, Nikki, anything?
It was a police and fire commission meeting. It was pretty uneventful. I think they're looking at for new hires, setting it up pretty soon. They're trying to get the timeline together and for the commercial exam as well. So they were just tightening up that. And that business as usual.
Good, thank you. Paulie, anything? How was the car shows?
Great car show Monday night, over 250 cars, a great band that showed up, and we just packed them in. It was really fun. One thing I do want to mention, this Thursday night, our little hometown band, Tom Sullivan and the boys will be playing at the parking lot Thursday night, so why don't you guys come out and join us and have some fun. And also, June 26th is my legend night. Tom Jones, Elvis Presley, Engelbert Humperdinck, come on over and sit down and enjoy us.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you. Celestine, anything?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Nothing. Chief?
As of last week, our unmarked car arrived, the 2014 Ford Explorer. It's dark blue. It's getting outfitted right now. It'll probably be up and running within a week, assigned to the detective division. We're still about 6 weeks out on the 3 squad cars that we ordered. Unfortunately, we got some bad news today on one of our black and white Ford Crown Victorias in 2011 with about 86,000 miles. The engine is shot. Sent an email out to the village manager today about that car. It's not worth the $4,000 to replace the engine. Talked to Curry Motors, who was going to take in a few trades of ours towards the new cars. They said they're not interested in taking this as a trade. So I'd say in about a month, once we get all our equipment off of it, I'll put it through the proper channels to dispose of it and request it to be declared surplus, and we'll offer it for sale, and we'll sell it out of the parking lot here pretty much. Hopefully to get maybe around $2,000, $1,500. And I know you wanted us to reduce the fleet by one, so
There it is.
mission accomplished. You got your wish, Mayor.
So so in other words, you put sugar in the gas tank? Is that what you're telling me?
We were
Just to
thinking
accommodate
of
me, or what?
disposing of it and maybe handing it down to Public Works, but this settled it.
I owe you one. Thank you.
You owe him a squad car or?
No. Payback, you know what they say about that. James.
I think this week is the final week for any schools that are in session to be out. I know my daughter, I think her last day is tomorrow, so watch out for the kids. And on the fire side, actually, the whole area is, actually the whole fire service is watching the Affordable Health Care Act and how it's, they're talking about this, it's called Mobile Integrated Health Care, how it's going to affect our EMS services in the future, basically making us busier, and at this point I don't see a lot of money coming behind it to support it, but that's where we're working with Loyola Hospital, and basically what it's going to do is kind of almost bring a home visit to the residents for certain surgeries. It'll be set up kind of through the hospital where we do follow-up visits with people to make sure they're compliant on their medications, basically to try to keep them, we're not going to try to keep them from getting back into the hospital, but keeping them compliant on their medicines and working with them a little bit more hand in hand to help them so they recover as they should be, and it's kind of driven by the Affordable Health Care Act. So kind of watching that really closely across the fire, the whole fire service. The whole country is actually working with this right now. So.
I've noticed, and I don't know if it's the new siren on the new ambulance, but I've noticed the increase of runs that I think the ambulance has been making. And like I said, I don't know if it's the siren or whatever. Do you think that there should be some type of investigation, or at least some numbers to be looked at in our short division, meaning Hillside, Broadview, and us, as far as partnering with a potential second ambulance?
We've actually, with that NATO event, we actually had paired with them over the weekend to kind of do a little trial basis with that, and it seemed to work okay. And through the snow events, we also did the same to staff a third ambulance, and that is definitely one of the things, not even related to that, I know myself and Kurla have definitely kicked around, and we're looking at different options like that as well. So,
All right, can you get back to us in a time certain with your investigation? So if we need to take a look at something, then maybe we can move forward in some intergovernmental way to get it off the nickel.
you bet.
All right, thank you. Maureen.
Last meeting I had mentioned that the finance department had implemented the new finance system. We continue to work with Civic on working out any little kinks and making sure everything has transferred over correctly. In addition to that, we're working on year-end processes and gearing up for our audit that's going to be taking place at the end of July.
Great.
That's all I have.
Any hiccups with the software? Major hiccups?
No
We'll
major
leave the
hiccups.
hiccup. No major. All right.
Major hit.
Gregory.
Small hiccups. Just a piece of information, piece of security for everybody. This is not just for the village. And over the last couple days, I've been receiving a large number of emails from the Department of Homeland Security regarding cyber security events or issues to take care of, which is what I've been doing over the last couple days, trying to patch up software. They're deeming it to be a severe concern for taking over computers. But something else that's occurred since our last meeting, and I believe some of you received the email on it, was with regards to phony emails trying to direct you to locations, saying that you have a file available or that somebody sent you an attachment, so please click here to gain your attachment. And it just is, again, whether it's your personal email or the village email, especially the village email, if you get anything that you're very suspicious of and have a question about, don't hesitate to call me, let me know about it. Like to work and make sure that we don't get any viruses into our system, of course. Orland Park just had a situation very similar where an employee had stated that they received an email saying that they received a fax. If they clicked here, they would be able to receive the contents of that fax, and they basically had to shut everything down for 72 hours until they can get a new system in place. So as a matter of trying to help you, I'd be happy to help you if you see something that you think is suspicious or have a question about. Would rather not have you open it. If it is on your phone, I know a lot of people have the smartphones or tablets. I can't speak for Android, but in the Apple world, if you open it up on your tablet or open up the link on your phone, you are very, very safe. But when you're doing it on a desktop computer, typically a PC, that's when you have the greatest risk of either infecting your computer. Sometimes it's downloading malicious software without you knowing it, taking information off your computer, and that's been the biggest threat that's been brought to my attention by the Department of Homeland Security, that these things are becoming more and more prevalent. And again, I'm available at any time. If you have that mail, you could always, if you think it's something that you would like help with, let me know. Either forward it to me. If you're not comfortable, forward it to me. Bring it into me. Be happy to take a look at it. But definitely don't open any attachments that you have that you're unaware of. Definitely don't open up any links that you're not familiar with the sender. So again, if you have any questions, let me know.
Thanks, Craig. Melissa, anything else?
Just a couple things. Mariano's, the phase 1 of their interior remodel was issued today, so it's basically just start doing their concrete work, and the rest of the remodel permit will be issued probably in the next couple weeks. And then just so that everybody knows, we had one business that opened last month. It was Pleasant Touch Dental. Just so that everybody knows, my department issued 212 permits last month, completed 247 inspections, and it amounted to about $1.1 million in construction value.
Nice. Good. Thank you. Robert, welcome. Baptism by fire. There's nobody here to beat you up, so you're all up.
Yeah, just wanted to make the board aware that we're completing our leak detection survey. We hired M.E. Simpson to acoustically sound our water mains. I think it's been a successful program. They've discovered 37 leaks, 5 of which were pretty significant. We've repaired most of those in-house. One of the lingering ones is out in front of Village Hall again. So we're looking at that one. The goal with this program is to reduce our water loss to below 8%. And that's the goal that the state sets for us. And for everyone getting a Lake Michigan water allocation, you need to get your leaks under 8% of the gross amount of water you buy. So we're very close to that. And we think if we get all these leaks, really reduce our costs, because it costs us not only to buy the water, but when it goes down the drain, and we pay for treatment as well. So we're getting our distribution system tightened up.
Actually, last night they did right at the corner. There was a valve right at the corner of Municipal Drive. You could see the gravel. You saw the sidewalk removed. That they did a late night dig last night to repair the valve there, which was very deep. I have to tell you, I was out on the scene as they were using the sucker truck, and I don't care what we paid for that thing. Working around the fiber optic lines, and there, if you saw the markings that are in front of this building, it's an OMG. There were 2 cables right underneath the concrete curbing that we tied off with a caution tape and pulled out of the way so they can do their dig very gingerly. I watched Wally Wiza work the Kubota. magnificently without hitting anything. Grippo, Stevie, and Scotty were all there, and they did a perfect dig. The vac truck, when the soil was wet enough, performed admirably and got us dug down quite quickly. Just that they had to replace about 30 different bolts that were all rusted out, and they shored up that leak and actually made a new valve out of it. And right in front of the village hall, where the handicap spot is, if you pop that cover, it's oceans away. The water's pouring in there. I know Vince and Grip were looking at it today to see if potentially it might be a sleeve that was broke or the pipe. But ultimately, what I'm being told is that pipe is in bad shape with the number of sleeves in it. And I've asked Janet to investigate the possibility of putting in for the Clean Water Act a replacement of that main, pretty much from Westchester Boulevard all the way to potentially Manheim Road or just shy of Manheim Road. That there's been a number of clamps that over time have been failing. The trouble's going to be the amount of utilities that are underneath that ground right now of where to relocate that line at some future time. So hopefully we can get this one leak, because it is substantial. It's thousands of gallons that are leaking right now that you just don't see because it's going right into the sewer. But we need to plug that up, as you said, as far as the finances and what we're paying for 1,000 gallons of water. That's probably every minute. And who knows how long it's been leaking. I know we did a repair there 2 years ago, and that's how we got the depressed curb in the handicap spot. But who knows? It may have been leaking 2 days after that or whatever. But
Right. I
that's,
think
that's one of the big ones.
Contributing factors is the soil conditions in that area are very aggressive, and they're rotting out the metal pipe. So looking for a different location or lining or PVC perhaps.
Yeah. Well, I know you've done some investigation. We've had some chats about in situ forming that pipe. And I know we got some basic costs of $75,000 just to do us on multiple price quotes from multiple vendors. It appears to me that they don't want to do the small jobs, and they're telling you they don't want to do it by their price, so to speak. But
We've got other options. We're going to look at 3 or 4 different options, and maybe Roosevelt Road isn't the place we want to be with this utility, because it only serves 2 buildings. Might be another way to go around the backside and
okay, well,
put it in another location.
that's why you're the engineer. So, again,
Right.
thank
and
you.
we did work at night primarily because of safety concerns on Roosevelt Road rather than a dig during the day. We're concerned about safety for the crews, so we did it at night.
And it was the best case scenario. Ms. Sherby.
None this evening. I do have a comment, but I have to save it for executive session.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, my turn. Short and sweet. I did receive a signed copy from MWRD about the Mayfair Reservoir Expansion Intergovernmental Agreement that I will give to Janet. I did get this as the first one that I've received since I've been in office. I read this to Janet today, but I would imagine that there's a statute requiring this. Fresenius Medical Care, located in Tower 1, Westbrook Corporate Center, have actually sent a letter to the governor, Michael Madigan, John Cullerton, Tom Cross, Rebecca Harmon, Christine Redonio, Department of Labor, me, and Miss Tony Pretwinkle, indicating that 53 positions in the company that's occupying the towers are leaving. So I didn't get a chance to call to find out the reason for the closing. However, there's a Downers Grove address, so I don't know if they're consolidating and moving from the towers to Downers Grove or not. But it's the first one I've ever received from a company telling me that they were basically moving out and losing 53 positions. So I will find out the reason, cutbacks or whatever the case may be. But that's the first time I've ever got something like this that was eye-shocking to lose 50 positions. So anyway, that's it. I understand we have an executive session For 5LX 122C1, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, and under 5LX 122C2, collective bargaining. Is there anything else, Mike? No.
That's all.
That's it?
Unless Sherby's got a topic that doesn't fall under either of those two. Okay.
Okay. With that, I would ask for a motion a second to adjourn our board meeting.
Motion.
Celeste, second by?
Second.
By Nikki. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition say no. Our board meeting stands adjourned.